welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194, 651-775-9194. Jodi, you're going to talk us through now how you started out writing. We're talking about writing in television, and you do spend, all those scripts are written. I mean, people don't realize that, but the person that's on camera, they're reading it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I've written, produced lots of shows as well as being on camera as well.
Do they practice that, or do they just get it up there and just read it for the first time?
Well, depends on who they are. Yeah. Yeah, some are like really good at it.
Yeah.
I make sure I always try to read over.
Yeah. I'd have to read through it about 10 times.
Especially when it's being recorded live or tape and stuff like that. You know, the other thing I wanted to mention too, you were talking about trying to raise money and stuff. The other thing about what I'm of is I love giving my talents and my time and philanthropy. And I've helped a number nonprofit to fundraise videos for them, and have helped raise tens of thousands of dollars here in Minnesota alone and stuff like that for various nonprofits and things. So I love doing that, giving back to the community.
Now, do you teach journalism anywhere?
Just when I mentor students.
Just when you mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more of a one-on-one. You would mentor somebody one-on-one if they came to you and said, hey, can you help me out? This is what I want to do, but I have no idea.
People do ask me all the time.
And where do those people come from?
They're all different walks of life, all different ways.
Yeah,
walks
of life.
Yeah.
So from colleges or?
Some are professional people saying they know that I do this, and they say, what would you do and how do you do this and stuff. And I'm always willing to share that information.
Well, corporate
like
video has become such an important part of our media and our communication process right now, because we get videos, all the time, every day, multiple times a day, because it's such a powerful way to communicate.
It really is. That's one thing about television or videos and all of that, is because I love using the words, telling the story, using all the sound and the video, and telling. It's so powerful. It really is such a powerful tool of communications.
Do you have like a template when you do your show? Do you have like templates that you kind of use, like a donut, or I'm going to do this and then we're going to do this, and then all you got to do is kind of fill in the blanks?
It starts in my head when I'm interviewing somebody. I'm starting to think how this story is going to go and how to do it, and I don't have a formula or I really design it for whatever the topic is or whoever I'm interviewing and stuff like that. And that curious nature of me always asking questions. And listening. I need to listen more.
Yeah.
No comment.
We could all listen more.
I'm
very guilty of it. Thinking about the next thing I'm going to say and not listening to what's being said. It's an art form. Let's talk about your show now. When you started the show, what made you want to start a show in the first place?
I started the show January 19 years ago.
All right. And the name of the show? And
it's called Inside Healthcare.
Okay. And where did that show originate?
So it's originated there at one of the cable stations. And before that, I worked at KSTP Channel 5 and did the health and medical news for more than a decade. So I did that daily, stories and that. So it was a natural thing. When I was approached, someone said, because of my background, would I be interested in doing a show? And I go, next thing I'm doing a show. And we've been doing it now every month for 19 years. And it's health and medical and wellness related. It's a whole thing, like you said, the wellness and stuff like that. From having medical doctors on there to having someone with alternative care, or to my favorite things that I like to do is the patient, having them on there, their stories, their heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, and.
All right, so if I wanted to watch a show, where do I go to see it?
It is carried on 12 Twin Cities cable stations here. I recorded at the TV studio in White Bear Lake, SCC TV, and again, it is carried on more than a dozen Twin Cities cable stations. So it runs all the time.
A weekly show or a daily show?
It's a monthly show.
Monthly show.
Yeah. Like at KSTP, I did a daily, but
daily, wow.
Yeah.
That's a grind. Okay, so talk about the guests now, because you mentioned you have doctors and you've got patients and who's producing the program? Where do these guests come from? How are they made known to you? And then how do you get them on the show to come on and be on camera?
I'm the producer.
All right.
So I read a lot,
Wow.
and I'm constantly trying to be up on top of what is happening, topical topics, and just always learning things and stuff. And this would be a good interview. This would be on this show.
Okay.
And I try to make it like, if it's February, maybe there's Heart Month or something. Like maybe it may focus on that, a heart patient or one of the doctors. I've had scientists on my show. I've had all kinds of people.
You remember Bill
And
Moyer?
where do you find them, though?
I
That's the thing, right?
I find I read a lot. I
Read and see somebody and
I
says,
see
okay,
somebody, or I meet someone. I go,
connect them.
Okay.
you guys would be great on the show. In fact, I would love to have you
We
on the
would
show
love
to talk on there.
All right, so you know who Bill Moyer was?
Who?
Bill Moyer.
Oh yes.
All right.
Yes.
So he had the
He's
Moyer
awesome.
the Moyer files, right? Very
I like him.
interesting. So he was
I tried to get a
eclec-
documentary on him at a show.
very
actually.
eclectic. He would be talking about so many different things. Well, he had what he called. Someone asked him one time, "Where do you get the idea for all these shows? Because they're so diverse, for one thing. I mean, just all over the country and all different things." He's just what you said. He said, "I'll read something, and I'll say, that would be interesting." So he takes a manila folder, he tears out the thing out of the magazine, sticks it in the manila folder, and puts it in the file cabinet.
They call that a brain dump file.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a file, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If your paper, it's a file. If it's on
Yeah.
your computer, but it's called a brain dump. That's where you put your ideas.
That's kind
is
of
in
on
a
my
brain dump.
Do you do it online? Say
And on my iPhone too.
on something like that. It's
I
just
have
like
a folder.
to me, I can flip through folders so much quicker than I can
Yeah.
on a little phone screen or on a computer screen. And so then when he is looking for an idea for a show and he hasn't got one, on the top of his mind, he'll go to that file and he says, "I've got, shows for 20 years in the file cabinet."
Well, a good example is in October, Breast Cancer Awareness
sure.
Month.
Mm-hmm.
I was hard to get her, but I got Senator Amy Klobuchar to be on the show talking about her surviving breast cancer and how she's helping other women now and stuff. So it was great to have her on the show.
When you are doing
Next
a show,
October, you can borrow my pink car and do something with it.
Yeah.
when you are doing a show like this, Inside Healthcare, obviously there's controversy.
Yes.
Because you've got people from both sides of the spectrum.
Right.
Some people don't trust.
Right.
I don't trust Western medicine because it's all evil. Monsanto's evil. Everybody's evil. And then the other side says it's hocus pocus, witchcraft. It doesn't work. It's not proven, not tested, no science behind it. How do you handle that controversy? And do you ever do like a face-off show where you've got people from both sides of the spectrum
Let's
arguing
do it.
the points?
We should do it.
Not as much with that. Usually I will have some guests that share the same kind of thing and they have different perspectives on it and stuff like that. So I might ask that in that way. I was thinking where we had talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month and stuff, and then I've had scientists on there talking about the research that they're doing for childhood cancer research. Too, I had a nurse practitioner who's a cannabis nurse and stuff like that.
Enthusiast.
Yes,
Yeah.
enthusiasts. Yes. Especially with things changing here in
Right.
Minnesota law and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yep.
Who does this benefit and what are the drawbacks of it and things like that. I try to keep it open-minded. And
Do you have people that you go into the program and you're interviewing them on the program? You've got your own mindset of, what that's going to be like and what your beliefs are. And by the time you're done talking to them at the end of the show, you've changed your mind.
Nothing comes to mind offhand when I'm thinking about that. But I really, as I said, try to listen to what they're saying, and that can totally change what my next question might be or where we're going to go with the show.
Yes.
I don't know until the show is over that we're done with the show. I always have that time, and then sometimes I say, we would love to have you back on because there's a lot more that we'd like to talk about. That would be
when you're doing the program. This is more of a technical thing. Now you have is it a 1 hour show, or how long is a show?
it's a half-hour show.
Okay.
And then
That's
it is
quick, isn't it?
it is but not in sometimes I think it needs to be shorter.
Sometimes it's not so quick.
So it's also picked up on YouTube, and that some of the segments then are played back on YouTube and stuff
sure.
like that. And usually those can be anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes to even longer than that.
So who puts those together?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I've had working with a TV station, and they would edit that, and
Wow.
I produce it, and I say, here's the script outline, or here's the interviews we have and stuff. And then with COVID, I ended up doing a lot of interviews on Zoom and things
Zoom,
like
yep.
that. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
instead of in the studio.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
All right, so favorite part, again, going out and pay some bills. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. Okay, so on the first segment, which I forgot to start the videotape on.
Oh, I'm going to give you one of these.
I know it.
He gives me this all the
The
time.
head
If you can
shake.
see it, I'm shaking my head
Total
with my head down.
disappointment. Sheila was talking about the muffin top meltdown. That was one of her initiatives that she's working on this year.
Yes.
She's got another one that
Yes.
she's working on, and it's this NINCSA deal.
It's- yes.
What is that about?
So the first point that I want to get across is that I really do care about people.
Mhm.
Like I really do, and my passion to help you. And so this particular 14-day reset is for people. Are you fatigued? Do you have digestive issues? Are you obese? This can be anybody,
Yeah.
right? So kids have done it, and diabetes, autoimmune issues, trouble with sleep, headaches, joint stiffness, frequent illnesses, anxiety, depression, inflammation. And if you heard our show last week with Melissa on inflammation, she went into the whole science of why inflammation is
Dr. Melissa Olson.
Yes, is why you need to be concerned and reduce your inflammation.
Okay.
So all of that equals our 14-day reset. And so what the 14-day reset is, it's a specific 5 simple things that you do. You have to clean water, drink half your ounces in body weight a day. Pick your food plan, so paleo, keto, Whole30, whatever you choose. And then the trouble, most people, is the exercise. It's move your body 30 minutes. Now, I don't mean go to the gym and run yourself ragged. It's get up and walk.
Right.
We have videos in a closed Facebook group where there's a fitness instructor laying on a bed showing you how to lift your leg. There's many people in there that have disabilities that can't do all of that
Right.
because they need to get rid of some of this stuff first. And there was one gal in there that she did 2 minutes a day of walking back and forth because she had just had a surgery, and she did that to equal 30 minutes over the day. So, just don't freak out about the 30 minutes a day. And then our powerful high antioxidant NINCSA Red is scientifically proven to support what the results are and the issues that I just talked about. We have scientists speaking about it, and we have a closed Facebook group that we can get you into, and you drink a certain amount of that a day. And the first 3 days, you're pretty loaded with 12 ounces a day, but that's because we need to flood those body with those nutrients, because when you change yourself to a different food plan from sugar and preservatives and things like that, we need to satisfy those cravings that you're going to have. And so that's why we flood the body with that much NINCSA during the first 3 days.
Which is really good, by the way.
Which is really good, right. And then from
So
day
good.
4 to 14 is when you reduce that. And the results in that 14 days have really been amazing. And so there's a Facebook group that I can get you into that's a sneak peek. So you can take a sneak peek into what this is about and see hundreds and thousands of testimonials.
Okay.
We have been working on this for a year to prepare this to come now
to the market.
With all of these testimonies, the science behind it, and so forth. And so there's, like I said, a lot of testimonials, and this one kind of surprised me, but I don't know really why it did. This is this gal's third reset. Most people are doing it for inflammation, but then you lose the weight.
Okay, so in the inches. You don't have to. It isn't something you do one time.
A lot of people will do it one time, and we're doing it monthly.
Oh.
So you can join in. If I'm going to be traveling the whole month, I don't want to have to worry about that, but I'm going to come back on in month 3.
Okay.
So you can do as many months as you want. I'm committing to 3 months.
All right.
And people are like, Sheila, come on, you don't need to lose any weight. Now, like I said, it isn't necessarily about that. Injured an arm. I know I've got some inflammation. Like I need to do it. And so this girl is about to have baby number 5.
Okay.
She's on her 3rd reset. Now she's pregnant in doing this.
Sure.
Okay. Because then that's
it's
a lot
it's all good stuff.
Well, right. But a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I can't do this because I'm pregnant. I can't take this. I can't use this oil because whatever. So looking forward to the reduced inflammation, deep nutritional support, better sleep and energy that she had experienced in the last 2 resets. So now she's pregnant. Okay. About ready to pop. 0 swelling she has. And the rings and shoes are fitting like normal. And she still has ankles. That's what she said. So the reset will likely take her through the birth and then also the healing period. Now, I know you can't see it now, but I mean, she's about ready to pop. And again, I would love to chat with you, go over some testimonials, but the basic get ready, set, reset is to sip the Ningxia, eat the rainbow, hydrate yourself, take care of yourself, and then we've got the science behind it if that's your jam, and then share it. So what we want you to do is really do those before photos. Now I've got somebody that's having a reservation about taking her before photos. It isn't me, by the way, honey. And I said, listen, you can't undo it.
Right.
So take the photos, and then, if you really aren't comfortable with sharing
just
them,
save them.
you don't have to,
right.
But save them. If you don't, save them for months. You'll see how many times, that you do this. And
trust me, if you have marvelous results and you want to take the after photo, you'll want to show the before photo.
Yes. Yeah. And so we have a great thing that Young Living did is they made the exact reset kit. So the exact amount of Ningxia that you need for this. Okay, and it's an amazing price, and
you get a little discount. Tell them about.
And you get a little discount. We're in the month of January,
right.
So with January you get 20% off just this month
with a special code.
Right. And I'm gonna give you that code, and so. It's always fun, right, to do it with a friend as well, right? But you don't need that because you have all the support of this Facebook group, which has over like 1 million people in this.
Who are excited about it.
Ready to do it. And studies show that you're 20% more successful when you do it with a partner, okay? And then the group loss, whatever your goal is 3 times higher if you're in a group. Okay. So we've prepared everything. We have doctors in the Facebook group. We have pharmacists. We have physical fitness people in there. So we've got everybody in there to be able to talk to you, give you your guides, track your progress. We have support calls every other week that you can come on a Zoom and answer your questions and support you in whatever that way is. Now, if you text me and you want to talk, I am going to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Right? So I have a couple of people that have started it with me this month, and it's great that they reach out to me with their questions.
Get a little one-on-one action.
Yes. So where are you going to put that link?
Where are you going to put that link? The link will be in the podcast. Or you can just go to ourhealthyhomes.com and click on the pink button for the Muffin Top Countdown. And just when Sheila reaches out to you, just say, well, Muffin Top is cool, but I want the Ningxia thing. Yeah,
and when you click on the Muffin Top button, you can also get a free guide.
Yeah.
So you can have an opportunity to get that. And
they work well together.
Yeah,
too.
and they do work well together. Right. Yes.
All right, so we got a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
I want to get going back to Jodi here, and I want to talk about your show, and you've been doing it 19 years.
19 years.
19
How
years.
many years here in Minnesota?
19 years.
19
Oh,
years,
so
yeah.
what did you do?
Well, I was at KSTP for more than a decade.
Yeah.
And
What
before that, I worked at an NBC station for more than a decade
Okay.
in Nebraska.
In
Okay.
Nebraska.
And then interned at 2 Denver TV stations
Wow.
before that.
So you did
Fun.
get to move around at least the Midwest a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, before that, I lived in I lived in Idaho. Before that, I lived in Boston. I lived overseas and things
Wow.
like that. Yeah.
All right, so you're 19 years of doing your own show.
Yes.
And you have advertisers, or how does it get paid for? I'm so curious
Well,
about
it's
that. How does it
called
get paid for?
volunteer
Okay.
producing and
Okay.
hosting and that. And it runs on the cable
It
stations.
runs on cable. So
Yeah. And they, like it started
They
with
promote
one
it.
station,
Mhm.
and now there's 12 that carry the show on a regular basis, including ETV here
Okay.
in Eagan.
So why do you keep doing it?
I love doing it. I love just informing people and about what's going on and things like that.
Do you ever get tired so that you're running out of like guests or topics, or do you find yourself
No.
kind of repeating the same thing? What's your
No.
favorite topics to talk about?
Like I said, I love those patient stories.
Uh-huh.
That really willing to share their story. Like Maria and Jason Coates, and they're from Arizona. They were up here and they were on the show, and also Lori Lewis. Also, she's from the Twin Cities area. Both of these families have lost a loved one
Mhm.
to the opiate overdose,
Oh,
and there's like
Oh, wow.
tens of thousands of people. And these people are willing to share their story because they want to help save some other lives. They don't want someone else to go through it.
I was going to talk about that today, but I didn't think we'd have time.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Hey, welcome back to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. Speak with I was going to say lovely and talented Sheila, but she costed me during
I
the
set him
break.
straight on the break, so now he's not going to say.
Anyhow, she'll set you straight. All right, she'll get you going in the right direction.
I will help you.
Okay, we're talking to Jodi, and when we went out, she was talking about some of the
Patience.
patients that you've interviewed, or people with stories that you've interviewed with people. Are those your most memorable shows then to you, or what is your most
They
memorable?
really are. I think about it too. I mean, there was this soldier who was severely injured in the whichever war. I don't
Mhm.
remember now which one. And that he was disabled as a result of it. So one of those breaking medical thing,
Mm-hmm.
scientists, they were able to grow his leg, and that he is no longer disabled.
Grow his leg.
Wow.
Explain that to me.
So his leg was down from the knee down. It was missing.
Amputated.
It was amputated,
Gone.
yeah. And he was in a wheelchair. I think he had some on his other leg too. And then also he had injuries to his arm and stuff like that. So they were able to grow his leg, and now he's no longer disabled.
So not like
Grow a
the,
new leg.
the attachment leg. What is that?
Right.
His leg would grow
Really?
because of German scientists came up with this technique and
Of course,
stuff
it's
like
a
that.
German
Yeah.
Of
science.
course it is, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it always somewhere
But it was,
else?
a Minnesota doctor that perfected it and stuff like that.
Unbelievable.
Those one of the
I'd like
many.
to interview that guy.
Yeah.
The doctor.
Yeah,
So-
right. Right, exactly.
You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
So,
Have you interviewed the doctor?
I've interviewed. Yeah, and they were on my show actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow, yes. I would love to do that.
what are
and,
some,
and I've covered surgeries too. I've been in there with a camera and things like that
during the surgery?
during the surgery.
Oh.
I've covered
No way.
many surgeries. Yeah.
How about autopsies?
Yeah.
No, but I
Can we go together? Please, can we go together?
I did the mini medical school at the University of Minnesota, so they had autopsy stuff there. Yeah, so
Okay.
I've been all that. But yeah,
The mini medical school.
What's that?
What is that?
at the University of Minnesota School of
Medicine. Yeah.
Medical
Right,
School.
right.
Yeah, they offered it, and I
It's-
took that.
But just a lay person can go in there and kind of.
It was,
really.
yeah.
How long of a course is that?
Oh, it was
I mean,
it was very intense.
like
yeah.
weeks or days or hours or
No, it was like you were going like the first year of medical school. Here are things that you'd be learning. So
Okay.
that was one session, you know.
Okay.
Another was this, and
okay.
you kind of go through the whole thing. So,
We should do that. Sounds interesting.
so I don't have a
Wow.
degree in,
All right.
I'd rather go through the autopsy.
but I have a
piece.
Well, you get that.
medical degree.
Yeah.
All right. So what other work are you doing other than the show?
Well, other things that I do is I also write for a couple of magazines called Mendota Heights Living Magazine and Eagan Neighbors Magazine,
Okay.
and I've been doing that for about 5 years now. And
5
so,
years.
Yeah, so I get to meet people in the community and share their stories.
And so when it comes
doing
back
that.
down to it, writing really is your foundation.
It really is,
It
yeah.
is.
Have you written a book yet?
No, I haven't, but
Notice I said yet.
Yes.
not yet. Yeah, not yet. But I
That's-
have a screenplay and things like that. And then also I have a podcast, a documentary on a horrific murder case that I cover, a mass murder case in Nebraska, with the
Stop.
interview with the surviving family members, with the judges, with the attorneys, with the killer himself. So those are the kinds of things I've
The
been
next one you got to take me with, sister, because that's I love murder
Yeah, she
mystery.
does.
It's
Yeah, you
my
wouldn't
jam.
think he wouldn't hurt a fly. And
Of course.
he gunned down his next door neighbors, including 3 young children.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know, I just speaking of like, you know, the sadness of all of that, I posted on my Facebook this week of that sad fire in St.
Oh my
Paul
gosh, that
with
breaks
the,
my
With
heart.
the 4 kids
That breaks
from
my
a
heart.
candle.
Mm-hmm.
A candle. So let's look at safer alternatives. You know, candles are so dangerous, especially around kids. So I posted that, and there's many other ways to have your house smell nice, right? You know,
Good advice.
Yeah, use
a
a diffuser.
diffuser and some essential oils, and it's better for you anyway. But
I've had firefighters on my show and things like
Oh,
that,
did
talking
you-
about safety and things like that.
did you have what's the firefighter we had?
I just watched the clip on
Oh,
YouTube
sure.
actually
Okay.
as it popped up in my feed
Okay.
of the show. I don't remember his name.
We had a firefighter, really powerful guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've.
And then my son, he's a filmmaker, and he's working on a couple of documentaries, including one on post-traumatic stress disorder and firefighters. And
Mhm.
more firefighters die of suicide than they do in the line of duty. So
Wow.
it's an issue of awareness that he's hoping to bring.
You know, and
on.
it's the same thing with police. When the police retire,
EMS.
they retire. The likelihood that they're going to make it 10 years is
Right.
The odds are not good because they've had so much of their career has been just first of all it's constant stress.
Mm-hmm.
You know, constant adrenaline flowing,
Fight or
and-
flight.
and they've seen so much that it just accumulates. You wouldn't think it would. But it does, and it's a very common occurrence.
That's
And
one
you
of
know-
the things that I was going to say, that my son and I worked on a couple of documentaries, fundraising videos, and one of them was for the St. Paul Fire Foundation. So we addressed a number of those different issues that they face and things like that.
Do you remember when Brisket, our therapy dog, was in the St. Paul firefighters
Oh,
calendar?
I love those therapy dogs.
Yeah, and speaking of,
I love your therapy dog.
that fight or flight, there's more natural stuff that's coming about to be able to help us with that fight or flight. And, the vagus nerve, the parasympathetic nerve, there's a protocol that I've got. And it would be so beneficial for anybody to do it, not just the fire, the really, high stress, but the everyday person to be able to learn how to do it. And I love teaching that.
When you look at your program right now that you've been doing for 19 years, and you look 5 years out, or 3 years out, or 10 years out, where do you see that going? Do you see it continuing with it, or do you think some other things are maybe going to swell in? And
I would like to have it continue, but then I go, things are constantly changing,
right.
television, media, screens and things like that, and shorter attention span.
Right.
I mean, a half-hour shows a lot of time and things. So, I'm always looking, what is that future look like? And I would like to be able to continue it and evolve with it and change with it if I can. But
what are your people in your community, in your broadcasting community that you stay in touch with? And what are their feelings about that? About basically just broadcast in general, but the length of shows. Do they see it going shorter? I mean, we've seen it in our real estate stuff going back and forth. Now, it turns out that YouTube long form video is the best. You know, that these little clips of things are great for entertainment, but it's not really a business driver. People don't really pay much attention. It's just a passing of time thing. But when they want to actually learn something or get answers, they go to YouTube. So maybe the future is pretty bright.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started in television, way back when, on the TV station.
It's been at least 10 years now.
At least 10 years.
Yeah.
Or more like 40 years.
Okay.
They were still using film that they were processing at the TV station.
Oh, wow.
And they had one video camera.
Wow.
And then I think about how it evolved throughout my career. Some of the things I really liked doing in the early 2000s is doing live surgeries on the internet. So I was moderating them at different hospitals here in the Twin Cities. Everything from knee surgery to back surgery to aneurysms and kidney stones and things like that.
So were these teaching hospitals, or how do they
thought
they let you in there?
When we started doing that, they thought it would be like for teaching,
Sure,
medical professional and things like that. But they found the general public around the world would tune in, and they would send questions, and I would ask the questions of the surgeon and stuff like that.
Oh, so it was live.
It was live.
Wow.
During that hour and rebroadcast. So I love, when you think about it, like TV, at least like the local news, and that's all live.
Yes.
It is live.
Yeah. Nothing better than.
So you don't have any issues with blood then?
Yeah. Sheila'd be on the floor.
No, I want to be there. But
No, there were photographers I'd work for that they couldn't do it because not even
sure,
getting shots or something.
Yeah.
Right. Fascinating. That would be like, to me, that would be
I'm
like
kind of
the best
speechless
part.
about that because first of all, I think it's brilliant.
Yes.
Because it is so. I've watched videos
And people
like that.
wanted to watch it.
It is
You bet.
very interesting. And you really get an appreciation for. You can say all you want about the hate mongers of Western medicine, but a surgeon is something quite different.
Yes.
When you're inside and you're those hands,
Right.
Amazing.
are like magic.
Right.
In there.
And they never know. Sometimes they could do all the tests in the world, and then they open
Get
up
in there.
Get in there. They have to improvise. I mean,
Right.
because things aren't exactly like they
Thought they were.
they were. Yeah.
I remember one. It was a documentary on parasites because if you know me, that's one of my favorite topics, right? And so they went in there for something, whatever the stomach surgery was going to be, and they, lo and behold, had this humongous pocket of parasites. And I mean, it was
like
fascinating.
a nest.
It was.
Wow.
It was fascinating because they were like, shoot. Like, we didn't expect to have to deal with this because they had to deal with that, obviously, before they could
I
get to the
admire
next
all
thing.
of that. Just
Yeah.
watching that.
Exactly. Right.
Okay, so in the final few seconds here,
wow.
someone's listening and they're thinking about your show. What is the basic thrust that you would message that you want to deliver to them about your show?
Well, if they want to know what's going on and be on top of things, to tune in and watch the show. I always feel like my show is one where people are flipping through the channel and they might stop and watch and listen.
Okay.
And if I can get them to listen at least to some of that interview, if not the entire interview, then I feel like I've accomplished something.
Do you know what's coming like weeks out so that you can tease it, or is it like you got a month?
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you don't know.
But I try to make it topical and
Tune
timely.
in next time because
Yeah.
we
Right.
don't know what's going to be on, but
Right.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
This is
You're
that's what we
right.
do.
I do try to tease it if I can.
This is Our Healthy Homes. I have no idea who's coming on next week, but it'll be good.
Did you even know? Yeah.
No, this is
he
Our
doesn't
Healthy
know.
Homes.
But you guys could be on my show
Yes,
next
we'd
time.
love
We'll
that.
do it. We'll see you next week.
But when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after dinner, sugar in every room. He says I'm sweet as I can be. When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey,